He's a very grateful person. Your sister, you will be brother Nigeria, they drag GLE. Your sister not even get 2 million to 5 million for account. I've known Ruth since her ending when she was staying at Sabo. This girl was marketing class rep. Then if I want to post information, now she they allow me post for their group chat. Then I was surprised when I heard she came for HND. As how? When your sister just win Big Brother Nigeria, when your sister they stay for Lucky, they stay for mansion. Your people they stay for a Ikorodu family house. Then your sister get money. Like how? Even the baby daddy talk and say, now him they pay the girl tuition fee for years now. Now him they take care of the girl. Then she can't get Dangote then Phyna you they come. They demand 1 billion from Dangote. People where they create awareness for the case. You sideline all of them. You went to meet Dangote yourself. I wish Very Dark Man was part of this issue. This girl, they don't fly them out since. But based on your corny lifestyle right from time, this is me.
Reuben Abati recently criticized Nyesom Wike, stating that Wike has no moral ground to speak about character. According to Abati, Wike himself should be questioning his own actions before pointing fingers at others such as Peter Obi, Goodluck Jonathan, and Nasir El-Rufai.
Well, coming from viewpoint of a political analyst within the context of Nigeria, I'm not surprised that things like this are likely to crop up. But you see, what surprised me most is the hurry in which the government has been able to come up with these elections when the properly elected governor of the state, who has been elected by the people, majority votes of the people, is barely coming in the next 1 week or two, coming back. Based on what Wike has stated. With people like Wike, Nigeria's democracy is in danger. For very obvious reasons, I want to believe that with his, especially the interview he had today, which I monitored critically, I could see the loquacious, boisterous, and disdainful remarks, which looks like a circus show, or better still, playing to the gallery, with a view to impressing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to say that, look, this is a person that is my defender. He is a person that could lay his life on line because of me. To me, I see Wike as somebody that is in Hausa what they call Angulu Maikanzabwa. That is a guinea fowl with the head of a vulture.
Very strong.
Very strong. You see, you cannot be at the center, pandering to the whims and caprices of two parties at the same time. If you want to be PDP, go back to PDP in a hall. If you want to be APC, go back to APC. Under this nascent democracy, we've seen states where 100% elections at the local government were won throughout with all the councillors and everything. But speaking from both sides of them and playing to the gallery, speaking with half-hearted wisdom. We saw Wike saying that there are some small local governments that he has created for himself and that they won under PDP, and also others where he pushed his loyalists to go to APC in those local governments to contest. So local government as it is today under the democratic structure which has not been conducted is a democracy under which has captured rivers. And therefore, to me, it is a very sad commentary in the history of this country. Let us conceptualize. Let us look at it from a viewpoint of democracy. Democracy presupposes a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. The mere fact that there are lacunas in terms of information dissemination as to when the election is supposed to hold is supposed to be about 90 days. Why the hurry? And the fact that under this democracy, we've seen Wike and his group, when Fabura elected the local government election earlier, they went to court because 90 days were not given. Are we operating on different levels of constitution? One thing that I want to learn, or one thing that I've learned is, from Senator Sauri, who was the former secretary of PDP when Wike was there, dominating the political space. He said, look, Wike has never lost any electoral process in the courts. So, from all indications, Wike knows what he's doing. Okay. If not, I want to believe that if this is Senate democracy, where the will of the people will prevail, the dictates of democracy should be by the ballot of the box, I think it is a great traversal of justice. Looking at it from every parameter of democratic practice, this is a foul play. And I think this is...
This raises a crucial question. When leaders openly dismiss others' credibility without self-reflection, what does that say about the moral compass of our political class? And should the media continue to give such figures a platform without holding them accountable for their past actions? Dr. Ibrahim Modibbo added another layer to this debate by warning that with people like Wike in power, Nigeria's democracy remains in danger. He pointed out that in Rivers State, Wike has allegedly captured the democratic process, leaving little room for opposition voices. If democracy in one state can be hijacked, what does that mean for the future of democracy in Nigeria as a whole? Do Nigerians still believe their votes and voices truly matter in a system where strongmen dominate the institutions? On a very different note, a controversy involving Phyna, the former reality TV star, has sparked conversations online. According to reports, Phyna allegedly approached Aliko Dangote with demands for 1 billion naira, and some student leaders described her behavior as ungrateful. While these claims remain allegations, they expose a deeper societal issue, entitlement and the culture of celebrity expectations in Nigeria. Should public figures be held to higher standards of humility, or is society unfairly judging individuals who simply seek opportunities from the wealthy? And more importantly, does this culture of dependency reflect a wider failure in how opportunities are distributed in our country?
For the polity. Very quickly, Nyesom Wike, right? That's his name?
Yes.
The
Minister of the
That's
Media Pali, yes.
That's the title he currently bears. Now, he is saying that if Mr. Peter Obi comes back to the PDP will be destroyed because Peter Obi doesn't have the character, having condemned PDP as a rotten party, to come back to the PDP. Wike is not in a position to talk about character. Okay? He is not the one to talk about character. In fact, if he talks about character, he should question his own character. I don't know why people have problems with basic intelligence and decorum. He goes on television and he says, Peter Obi doesn't have character. Peter Obi left PDP and went to Labour Party. Now he's in ADC. In fact, it is Wike himself that destroyed the party. And he also says President Jonathan should not come and run on the platform of the PDP because he's a statesman and all of that. He's not in a position to advise President Jonathan, just as he has made it clear that nobody can advise him. These are some of the issues in the last 24 hours. Okay? And who is he to determine the destiny of the People's Democratic Party when he is already in another political party? And I blame the media. The media gives him platform to disparage other political opponents. Yesterday he was talking about Peter Obi, he was talking about President Jonathan, he was talking about Nasir El-Rufai. What gives him that moral high ground to talk recklessly and unintelligently? Because the media, what is the media looking for? The media, they are the ones who go to interview him. They are the ones who collect money to put him on the air. If he's talking about the FCT, yes, fine. But if he's disparaging other political opponents, the media has an obligation to give all the other persons that have been disparaged to have a right of reply. So we should not create a situation whereby, for monetary reasons, the Nigerian media is sucking up to a minister of the Federal Republic who, in my view, is overreaching himself.
I want to say this with a caveat, that my personal opinion, the legal interpretation of the eligibility of the former president clearly is not a validation, whatever opinion that I express is not a validation of whether I want him to run for the presidency of Nigeria 2027. Now, I'm only looking at it from the legal perspective. You are very correct that as far back as 2022, even after the fourth alteration of the Constitution, there has been a judicial pronouncement that affirmed the fact that President Jonathan is clearly eligible to run. You recall that in 2010, he came in to complete the tenure of former, the late Musa Yar'Adua's presidency, and he was naturally sworn in. But it is not by election, it's clearly by disposition of the law. Complying with Section 146 of 1999 Constitution is by operation of law. It was in 2011 that he ran for a proper election in which he won, 2011 to 2015, and he was sworn in. I think even in 2015, when he wanted to recontest, somebody went to court. That is this in Joko that went to court here in Abuja, FCT High Court. And one Justice Oniga, Oni Sangia, one Mudashiri, ruled that the president then is eligible to run, and that there's nothing that has actually stopped, that's going to stop him from running, that the former oath that he took in 2010 was not by virtue of election, but by virtue of succession, that he succeeded the former president. And so there is nothing that actually we should preclude him from running. But there was an alteration of the Constitution, what we call the fourth alteration in 2017, that came into operation in June in 2018. Now, by virtue of decided authorities by the Supreme Court, law at anywhere in the world is prospective, is not retrospective. You don't enact a law and begin to take away vested right or existing right or impose new obligation. When the person at the time that situation took place was not aware of the existence of a law. So every law is prospective. Every law. The commencement date of any law is from the day it is signed into law. A bill is signed into law, it becomes operational. And so if the law does not expressly include the provision that it is retrospective or retroactive, you cannot in any way interpret the law to be retroactive. So if there was an amendment in 2017 that came into operation in 2018, how could that law be applicable to vested right that took place in 2010 to 2015? It is clearly, impossible for such a situation to occur. So my view is that President Jonathan is clearly eligible under the 1999 Constitution to run for 2027. As I said earlier, I'm not in any way validating his choice as a president. I'm only stating what the law has said. And the law itself is that he is eligible under the 1999 Constitution, despite the provision of Section 137, subsection 3, that came into existence in 2000.
In all these cases, from Wike's political controversies, to the fragility of democracy in Rivers State, to the questions surrounding Phyna's conduct, one truth emerges: Nigeria is at a crossroads where integrity, accountability, and fairness must take center stage. The question for every Nigerian is simple: will we continue to normalize reckless leadership, weak institutions, and entitlement culture, or will we demand a higher standard from both our politicians and our celebrities? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue bringing you these important discussions that shape our nation. Until next time, remember, the future belongs to those who dare to demand better.